Okay, started getting at least one of the internal pieces out of here. Did some measuring, did some double checking. Discovered I do need to make some modification to this. It's a 1/4 inch too wide this way. And because of that, I've got too much of a gap between the side of the part and the inside wall. Thought about getting a piece of 1/4 inch bar, welding it in there and using it as a spacer, but because of the way I got drilled out so far, it makes more sense to just trim this guy down by a 1/4 inch, weld it back up, and then install one of these. So got it marked. You know, doing the best I can with the tools I've got, and we'll see how it goes. So watch your ears. It's probably going to get loud. Okay, I finished the cut real quick. I've got this separated out of here. I have a little bit of cleanup work to do, but I'm going to take it, feed it back in here, and weld this back up. That'll give me a 1/4 inch narrower, which will allow these to fit in nice and snug the way they're supposed to. So that's the plan. So I'm going to do some cleanup work and get set up to double check, and once I get set up to weld, I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, got it cleaned up, got it tacked in real quick, double checked. My fittings will fit in there now. So now it's buzzing this in and going from there. So that's what I'm going to work on now. Don't beat me up about my welding, because I'm not a welder. cool down, do a little cleanup grinding on it, see where I'm at. May weld the inside edge as well, just to be sure that everything's good and tight. And from there, I'll start working on getting these pieces set in there, positioned, welded, and ready to go. Okay, now I got the inside welded up. I should have recorded that. That made it actually look like I have some idea of what I'm doing anyway. But here's where I'm at. Got this all welded in, a little bit of grinding, a little bit of cleanup I got left to do, but it's all in. Welded the inside, hard to see, but welded the inside down here. I've got the first piece set in place. I gave it a quick tack, and I'm getting ready to do some plug welds in here and weld this back in, and then I'll continue on removing the rest of these and moving them in here. I've got it all aligned, it's all ready to go. So I'm going to set it up here where I can get to it a little easier and get a couple of these plugs welded in. And as I said, I don't claim to be a welder, not by any stretch of the imagination. I realize just because I have the machine doesn't make me good with it, but for what I'm doing, I know these welds are going to be plenty strong. I'm confident in that. So there we go. Too tight of quarters, the clamps aren't really needed, and keep shorting the cup out to the clamp. So okay. That's done. Now if I can grab it without burning myself. See if I can clean it up that well. I'll get that later. But for what it is, if we can see, which you really can't. I got 2 plug welds on each side. I also ran a bead up the edge of the tab just to be extra sure. A couple of welds down in here just to secure the bottom, keep the bottom from being able to move. Once this is all bolted in, this isn't going to go anywhere. The way this works, there's a subframe assembly that bolts through these 2 holes up into the body of the car, and once that's all bolted together, this is all locked in place. There's nothing going to move. So that's it for that, and I am going to start drill in spot welds and get this guy out, get him installed over here, and then it's this center bracket, which is going to be an immense amount of fun because there's probably 16 spot welds holding it in. I don't know, there may be some folks out there that don't know this. I doubt there's many, but there might be one who wonders, you know, when you say you're drilling out spot welds, it's exactly that. They make bits that basically ride on a center punch and will just drill out the outer piece of metal to be able to get the spot weld out. In this case, I'm just using a regular drill bit and drilling all the way through because I want a hole in this bracket so that I can plug weld into the new piece of metal. So it's exactly what it sounds like. You're just drilling a hole straight through the center of that spot weld and trying to drill out the entire welded portion, the entire spot. And then once you do that, everything just pops free. In this case, I've got two welds that I just drilled here. In order to make sure that I've got a little more clearance, I've got a stepper bit. And the purpose of this is just what it sounds like. It gets progressively larger. These are very handy. I enjoy having mine. I'll just use this to enlarge the hole a little bit to ensure that I got the entire spot weld out. If my battery holds out. Of course not. It never works that way. Always carry a spare. Should be enough that the spot weld's loose on this side. Unless I was off a little bit or something along those lines, it should have it. It looks like the top one I do. Yeah, might have been off a little bit. Sometimes if you just got a little bit left, you can destroy a screwdriver by running it through there. I'm not saying I recommend treating your tools this way, but you know, sometimes you do what you got to do. Now, both of those welds are broken free. Now, unfortunately, somewhere down in this rusty mess in the bottom, there's two more that I need to find and break loose. So I'll get those broken loose and then I'll start recording again. Okay, got that one out. It's a little bit mangled, but I'll flatten it back out. This bottom's pretty unnecessary except for this area right here. It's pretty much just a spacer in there. But I'm going to take it out to the sandblast cabinet and clean it up and get ready to flatten it all out and finish all that up, and we'll get this one installed too. Okay, well, unfortunately the sandblaster told me no. I'm in a situation, I don't have enough room to have it inside, so I've got to have it outside. It's 27 degrees out this morning. Apparently a little moisture got in there, and it's not going to flow sand for me tonight. So I gotta wait for it to warm up out, and then I'll be able to do the sandblasting. So in the meantime, I'm going to get this piece out and get it ready to be cleaned up, and then I'll probably call it a night. So that's about all I got. Until I go to assembly, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. But this is where I'm going to end it now. So, you know, for anybody out there watching, I make this mostly for family that's no longer local and that kind of thing. But anybody else that might gain any knowledge out of this little project, appreciate your time. So, have a good night.